Hey guys, how you doing? Joe McCall here, and on this video I'm going to show you exactly what I would do if you threw me into a new city, I had no money, and I had 30 days to make $5,000. This is exactly what I would do. Cool, you ready? But first off, how about them Blues? Let's go Blues! In case you didn't know, I'm from St. Louis. Well, I'm not from St. Louis. I was from California, but I live in St. Louis. I love the Cardinals and the St. Louis Blues hockey team. So, guess who just won the Stanley Cup? Yes! So anyway, I just wanted to say that. Congratulations, all you St. Louis Blues fans out there. It was an awesome Stanley Cup. All right, so anyway, if I had 30 days to make $5,000, what would I do? Well, I put together some slides here, and I'm going to walk through some things I actually had here for notes and kind of walk through this stuff and show it to you. Cool. So again, I have 30 days. I need to make $5,000. You've taken me away from my family. I'm in a new city. I have no money. I only have a cell phone and a laptop and internet connection somewhere, somehow, right? Maybe I have to go to the library to get it. But I have a cell phone and a laptop, no money. I'm in a new city. How would I make $5,000 in 30 days? Well, this is exactly what I would do. All right, you ready? I got some notes here, and I'm going to share them with you kind of as we go through this. All right, so if I had 30 days, this is exactly what I would do. First thing, I would develop a marketing plan, right? And on that marketing plan, the first thing I would set were some goals, some bigger pictures of things of what I want to do, right? My big goal would be to talk to 10 sellers a day. That is something that I can control. I can't control making $5,000 in 30 days. I can't control that it takes, 30 leads to get one contract or whatever, right? Can't control it takes maybe, I get a 5% response rate on whatever marketing I'm doing. But I can control how many sellers I'm talking to, okay? So 10 sellers a day, 300 sellers total for the month, right? Then my goal would be to send offers to at least 75% of every seller I talk to. So 8 offers a day, 8 offers by email and by physical mail. Well, I don't have any actual money, do I? Well, if I did have money, I would send them in the physical mail. That's super important, but I don't have any money. So I'm only going to be emailing that to them, right? And I'm going to be following up with every single seller. And depending on their motivation level, it might be an hour later I follow up with them. It might be a week later or a month later. But during that 30 days, I'm going to be following up with every single seller I talk to, okay? Super important. Last year, we did 58 deals. Me and my business partner, Gavin, and our student, Melissa, down in Alabama. Of those 58 deals, only 54 of them came from the follow-up. Only 4 came from that first phone call that we had with the seller. They said, yeah, I'm motivated. I'm interested. I want to do this. 54 of them. That's what, like 93% of our deals came from follow-ups. So super important to understand. I would be following up again weekly with motivated sellers, and I would be following up monthly with everyone else. Now, daily, what are my daily things that I'm going to be doing every day on the marketing plan? Well, I'm going to be texting and or emailing, mostly probably 85% texting, emailing every Craigslist and Zillow ad that doesn't have a phone number, right? If I want to talk to 10 people a day, and if I'm getting an average of 5% response rate, I need to send 200 outbound messages a day. Is that right? 200 a day? Are you kidding me? No, it's not that hard. That may sound crazy and overwhelming, but it's really, really not that hard. And one of the things I forgot to say is I do have REI Simple. REI Simple is my database. So I do have that. I borrowed money from my kids, and I got $97, and I got 1 month subscription to REI Simple. I should have clarified that earlier, but I'm going to show you kind of what we do and how we do it that way. So if I'm getting an average of 5% response rate, that means I need to send out messages, texting or email, about 200 a day, okay? So let's say 50% of my leads come from Zillow. That means I need to contact 100 Zillow properties a day. That's for rent and for sale by owner, right? First for sale by owner, second rentals. And what if I can't find 100 a day? Well, you know what? I'm going to keep on zooming out in Zillow until I can find 100 a day. Until I can keep on zooming out and out and out. It may be that I have to cover the entire United States to get 100 new sellers every day, but I'm going to be sending 100 texts every day to Zillow. Love Zillow. And I'm going to call the ones who didn't respond to the text message. This is huge. And calling somebody cold call does not count to 10 sellers a day. I'm talking 10 sellers a day who maybe raise their hands and say, yeah, I'm interested in doing a lease option. So I'm going to call the ones who don't respond. Really important. Craigslist, I'm going to contact about 25 a day. The reason I'm not doing more is those stupid CAPTCHAs on Craigslist. They stop you from, getting out there and getting too much information. And the other 37%, which I think that equals 50%, I'm going to be going to Facebook Marketplace and sending messages to at least 75 people a day. Now, that may vary and depend on different things. Sometimes Facebook gets a little cracks down if you're sending too many messages at once. But I'd be trying to contact at least 75 people a day on Facebook. Now, if I'm running into walls where Facebook's not letting me send any more messages, well, then, I'm going to be doing 150 Zillow contacts a day instead. Cool? Now, what's next? I'm going to zoom out until I get to the number of homes that I need. By the way, I also have a spreadsheet in Google Sheets, where it can track duplicate numbers. And that's real important because you don't want to be sending the same text to the same seller 5 times a day if they have 5 ads on Craigslist or Zillow, right? So I have a spreadsheet that removes the duplicates. But I'm going to keep on zooming out and getting as many properties as I can until I can send enough text messages to, or Facebook messages or whatever, to talk to 10 sellers every day. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do every day, if I have the time, and just that texting and emailing should get me at least 10 leads. But if it doesn't, I'm going to start emailing realtors of older MLS listings, and these are homes in the median price range, okay? 20 a day, and I might be looking for houses that have been on the market for over 60 days, okay? Now, what next? Glad you asked. Now, again, breaking it down to weekly, what I'm planning to, and I already talked about this here. Weekly, I'm going to be following up with all of my old leads, right? Now, I'm going to calculate offers. How do I calculate offers? Well, I make it super simple. I have maybe a Google sheet where I can quickly calculate my offers. But when I talk to a seller, I'm keeping it simple, right? I'm not jumping in 100 different directions. When you're talking to 10 sellers a day, you got to be really careful that you're not wasting a bunch of time with unmotivated sellers who aren't ready to do business today, or at least soon, right? So I try to keep my conversations under 3 to 5 minutes. I'm the one asking the questions. I want to get the seller to sell me on their home, okay? I'm not going to be chasing them. I'm going to be pulling away and playing the reluctant buyer. And you got to change your mentality and your mindset about that, but you want to be the reluctant buyer, and you just want to keep it simple, right? You don't want to go 100 different directions. You just want to set the agenda up front, tell them why you're calling, tell them you're an investor, you're looking for an investment property. Can I ask you a few questions about your house? I'm looking for a nice home in a nice area as an investment property. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about your house to see if it would even be something I would be interested in? Do you see the positioning right there? And then ask questions. I'm the one asking the questions. Even if I'm starting to talk about lease options, I'm answering their questions and objections with questions myself. So I'm going to keep it super simple. I'm focusing, and probably what I'm going to be doing is focusing on just one strategy, lease options. And then if they say no, or there's no way, they owe too much, or I might go the cash route because I know how to do wholesaling. But I love lease options. If you were to take me away, and this would be from my home, go into a new city, this would be the same exact strategy I would use to try to find $5,000 in 30 days to get back to my family, right? And I would only give the seller one offer at a time, only one offer at a time, okay? I'm not going to bombard them with 3 different options, unless it's a super cold lead, but really just, I wanted to get on the phone and figure out as quickly as I can, is a cash offer going to work, or is a lease option offer going to work, or maybe even an owner financing offer, okay? And so to calculate a cash offer, this is really simple. I got this idea from my friend Tom Kroll. You take the average of the 3 lowest sold comps, and you can get that from Redfin or Zillow. I'm going to average that and multiply it by 80%. Simple, dimple, really, really easy. Now, if it's a property that doesn't need any work, because there are no repairs that are needed, maybe you could take, usually when you're looking at sold comps, you find the lowest solds. Maybe I'd go into the medium price areas, or just keep it super simple. Do maybe 70% ARV times 70% minus repairs minus wholesale fee. That's the typical Mayo formula. On a lease option, this is really simple. You can do this on a calculator or on a piece of paper. I'm going to take the average of like Zillow and ePraisal and maybe Redfin or Realtor.com, wherever you can get like an estimated value. Average those. I'm going to multiply that by 85%. Sometimes I take out repairs if it needs a lot of work. But again, most of these houses, again, that we're finding for rent and for sale by owner, they don't need any work. They're already in great shape. And for the rent that I'm going to offer the seller, I'm going to take the Zillow's estimate for rent and multiply that by 75%. I'm going to do 5 years, and I'm going to offer the seller $500 to $1,000 down, which, by the way, comes from the tenant buyer. That's not money out of your pocket. That's money that you get from the tenant buyer that you give to the seller at that time. Now, sometimes I might offer owner financing. If a lease option won't work, if they're just petrified and terrified of being a tenant, then I say, well, I mean, being a landlord, I might say, would you rather be the bank? And I can maybe owner finance it. So to do principal, I usually offer 2 different owner financing offers. I don't want to get too technical here because I just set up above, keep it simple. But this is simple for me because I've done a lot of deals. But I might offer owner financing at 100% of as-is value. I put on there ARV, right? But I might do as-is value. So that's ARV minus repairs. With principal-only payments. And I'll talk to you in a minute how I find my principal-only payments. Or I might do as-is value times 80% with 5% interest-only payments. Again, just keeping it super simple. Usually on interest-only payments, I'll try to get a 10-year balloon. And for my principal-only payments, it's usually half of the rent. So if it rents for $1,000 a month, I'll offer the seller $500 a month, principal-only payments until paid. Until paid. You see that? Really important because that gives principal-only payments for the life of the loan. So that may be 12 years, 15, 20 years, don't know. Kind of depends on whether it rents at and the price that you're agreeing to offer them. Now, you may say 100% of as-is value. Are you crazy? You look at the numbers on an interest-free, principal-only payments loan, that's awesome. But that's better for the seller that doesn't want to be a landlord or is afraid of being a landlord, maybe doesn't trust you enough to do a sandwich lease option. You can say, listen, would you rather be the bank? Okay, cool. All right, let's go to the next page here. All right, so obviously you have contracts, right? Well, you want some of my contracts? Go watch my webinar at sloclass.com. sloclass.com. I'll show you how to get my contracts, okay? But now, let's say you get it under contract. And by the way, I just use a simple one-page contract. I show you that contract in the webinar at sloclass.com. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, please go ahead and type that URL in the comments down below. All right, so I'm going to market the home, and I spelled market wrong. Did you see that? There, all better. Market the home, okay? But I'm doing the undo thing, so I got to do this. Now, best way to find tenant buyers, signs. Sign in the yard, 10 signs in the yard if you can get away with it, and signs in the neighborhood on the weekend. Bandit signs and signs in the yard. Ugly yellow, handwritten signs, they work the best, okay? I also love to put my properties on Facebook Marketplace. In many ways, Facebook Marketplace has replaced Craigslist in terms of effectiveness and reach. But I still put it on Craigslist in the for rent and the for sale by owner section, okay? And then Zillow. I like to put it on Zillow if I can. It's tricky sometimes, but I'll put it in the for rent section if I can get away with it. Systems. What kind of systems do you need to do this? Systems that I would be using? There's only one. REI Simple. That's it. In fact, in a minute here, why don't I just demonstrate some of that, what I would do with that. And then the people. What kind of people do you need? Well, obviously, it's just going to be me because I can't afford to pay anybody else yet. But as soon as I start doing deals and making some money, I'm going to get a virtual assistant. I'm going to be getting a full-time, dedicated virtual assistant. And by the way, a good place to look for VAs and find some that I like to go to is watch my webinar at sloclass.com, and I'll show you. I'm just kidding. But you should still watch my webinar. I love this site called virtualstafffinder.com. Virtualstafffinder.com. I don't have any affiliation with them. They're a headhunting agency. They'll go find VAs for you, and you can interview them. They think they charge $500 or something like that. But I've had real good success with them. Okay. You're also going to eventually need a leasing agent. When you start taking applications and taking calls, REI Simple makes a lot of things easy for you. But that's one of the first things you should outsource it. So why not outsource to a realtor? Get a leasing agent to do it for you. I usually pay them anywhere from $500 to $1,000 per deal to find somebody for me. And then the other people you need on your team are other wholesalers. Why? Because they have dead leads. They have leads that are motivated sellers that have come to them. They don't have enough equity. They're like, I can't help you. And they just throw the lead into the woodpile or into the trash can. Well, those leads could be money for you, especially if you're just getting started and you don't have any money for marketing. I would network with every wholesaler you could find. Go to all the real estate clubs and tell them, listen, if you bring me your leads that don't have any equity, I will do a lease option on them. We'll split it 50-50. I mean, you're going to get a lot of wholesalers that start bringing you their dead leads. And you could really make a lot of money doing that. The better you get, then you could say, listen, we're going to need to change the splits. Maybe it's 50% of your net profit, so you can work those kinds of things out. Cool. Now I'm going to jump on the computer here and show you some things real quick here, but I just want to invite you one more time to go to my free masterclass at sloclass.com, because I'm going to be breaking down all of these steps and showing you some really powerful things. In fact, I'm going to jump to my slides here and show you something. My class, I do this every day. If you go to sloclass.com, there's 3 things I'm going to be sharing with you. All of this free marketing, and there's other things I'm going to show you in the webinar, how you can get more leads than you can handle for free. I'm going to show you how you can not even worry about competition anymore, and how you can get deals under contract over the phone without any competition, without worrying about competitors coming in to get your deals, and without having to negotiate on the price, because many times you can just give the seller whatever price they want. And I'm going to show you how to make money fast, because you can sell these deals. If you get the right lease option deals, you can sell them lightning fast without even a buyer's list. Okay, so check out this webinar at sloclass.com, sloclass.com. Now, I'm going to show you a few things here real quick since we've got time and you've got nothing better to do. I'm just kidding. I know you do, and I appreciate your time. Well, let's just go do the Zillow here. And let's look at one of my favorite zip codes here, 63366. And I'm just going to look at all of the homes that are listed for rent here. And hopefully you can see this. And I'm going to just click outside of the area to get more. And these are 3+ bedroom homes in this little area right here. There's 93 of them, okay? And all I'm talking about, it's super simple. You just start going to these homes. Now, even though these are property managers, I would still send them a message. And later on, as I start making money, I would actually go to the county records and find the mailing address of the property owner, and I would send them a letter. That's a whole nother topic for another time, but that's something your virtual assistants can do for you. Start sending letters to these people. These are great little homes, and you can send them letters saying, hey, I saw your property, or text messages, I saw your property on Zillow. Looks like a nice house. You wouldn't be interested in selling it, would you? Or you wouldn't be open to maybe leasing it for a year or two and then selling it? All right. And I would send messages to all these folks. The next thing I would do is in the for sale by owner section. For sale by owner, I'm only interested in houses like this, right? And by the way, I don't do condos and townhomes, but you may be in a market like San Francisco or Chicago or maybe Boston, where townhomes and condos are more accepted and popular. So don't ignore those. I just do it because in the Midwest, where I am in St. Louis, it's harder to find buyers for little 2-bedroom condos, okay? And here you go. You can sort this by newest if you want. That way I'm always looking for just the newest ones that have come on since I was here last. And you can go here and you can contact these people very easily. Now be careful, because a lot of these homeowners, they're expecting, or they're getting a lot of calls from realtors wondering about their listing their house. Well, when I talk to these guys, so Chris Lee hopefully is a owner agent because if he's licensed and he's advertising a property for sale by owner, he can get in big trouble. But, I'm just assuming he is the owner of this house, right? So I would just contact this guy and find out what's the story, what's the situation, why is he trying to sell this house? Why not just list it on the MLS? So you go to these sites and you can get phone numbers right there. Boom. Now, this guy's watching you, so be careful when you call him. Can you see that? Okay, now I'm going to show you how REI Simple works real quick here, and I'm going to actually show you some campaigns that we just actually started doing here in St. Louis. We went and hired a scraping company that we teach our students how to do, and we had them go out and scrape literally 1,200. They went out and scraped Zillow and Craigslist, and they scraped over 1,200 phone numbers, and we put them into REI Simple. And I'm going to just do a quick campaign for them right now. We have these 1,163 leads in here. Okay, I'm going to just go in here and select 60 of them. These are all properties right now that are in the Zillow, that came from Zillow for rent. Okay, I selected 60 of them. Is that right? Yes. I'm going to go here and I'm going to change their status to first text sent. I'm going to make sure they're all confirmed. This just tells REI Simple that I can text them messages, and I can text them because they put their phone numbers on Zillow. All right. Then I'm going to add them to a group called SMS Broadcast, and I'm going to actually create a new group here. New group, SMS Broadcast 2. Let's just call it that. I'm going to select all 60 leads. I'm going to copy them to that new group that I just did. Now they're in that group. Cool. I'm going to go to Marketing, SMS Broadcasts. I'm going to go to SMS Broadcast. I'm going to click Compose. I'm going to select that group that I just did. I'm going to select the phone number that it's coming from. And I'm going to type in, hey, I saw your house on property address on Zillow. You wouldn't be open to leasing it for a year and then selling, would you? Thanks. Terrence is our acquisitions manager, okay? So I'm sending this text out now. Hey, I saw your house on address on Zillow. You wouldn't be open to leasing it for a year and then selling, would you? Thanks, Terrence. And I'm going to click Send Broadcast. Now what happens is it creates this broadcast, but it stays compliant because it's not a automated machine that sends out thousands of text messages all at once. I have to manually click the Send SMS button one at a time to send these 60 text messages, okay? And we can just see what they kind of look like. Hi, I saw your house on 81 East Elm Street on Zillow. You wouldn't be open to leasing for a year and then selling, would you? Thanks, Terrence, okay? And so it's kind of personalized. If I had their name, I would insert their name in here, but sometimes I don't. Like this is CJ Real Estate or Go Section 8, all right? But you know, again, some of these are gonna be property managers, realtors. That's okay, I don't care. I can still do deals with property managers and realtors. I'm just gonna click this now 60 times. I am halfway there, okay? By the way, eventually you have a virtual assistant do this, right? Let me say one more thing too. I am not actually, I have a spreadsheet that removes the duplicates before I import them into REI Simple, okay? There we go. I just sent 60 text messages to these sellers, all right? Now let's say one of them comes in. We'll look for responses here in a minute. We got one response here, an automated response that said, thanks for your interest. Schedule a showing at, okay? And so this is a property that I'm going to add on to my do not call list because I don't want to contact them anymore. I'm going to go to lead details. And I'm going to just call this lead dead. Here we go. Dead. Let's go back to our next response here. And you can see when it has been read, the text response goes not bold anymore. Okay. Let's see if I got some other responses. Okay, so this person, Dana, responded back. Actually, the home has already been leased. Thanks for inquiring. I say, okay, cool. If you're ever interested in selling the rental, let me know. All right. Now I'm going to go in here to lead details. I'm going to change the status to follow up cold. And I'm going to add a task. I'm going to assign it to my acquisitions manager, give it a due date in a month. So what is July 17th? You know, another thing I could do is I could also send another text. Do you have any other properties you might be interested in selling? Or do you know anyone? And they just responded back, will do. Do you know of any other properties that you might be interested in selling, or do you know of anyone? Now, I don't know if this is a realtor or a property manager, but cool. I got them in my follow-up. So every lead in your CRM should have a task assigned to somebody in the future to follow up with them. And if you wanted to, by the way, you can add them in the side of REI Simple into an autoresponder. I have an autoresponder where I could send them emails and text messages for as long as you want, every week, every day, every month. So you can set it up where it puts them into email and text autoresponders here, okay? And one of the cool things about REI Simple is right from here, you can actually get a lot of information about the property. You can see the street view, okay? We have the Zillow link in here. You can always go look at some of the details about the property. And if it's not as a rental anymore, it's not going to be here anymore, right? Here's somebody that says, I'll get back to you tomorrow after speaking with the manager. Very cool. I say, okay, great. I'm going to create a task to follow up with them tomorrow, right? Sometimes I'll just write FU to follow up tomorrow. All right. Sometimes, you can get some pretty interesting information about these houses here. I'm going to mark this as a lead. And you can go here to the links and see a little bit about the property. This is House Springs, Missouri. This is actually way out in the country. But that's okay. That's why I love lease options. Look how far away it is from St. Louis. That's probably a good 45-minute to an hour drive. Probably an hour, depending on which way you're going. But guess what? People still want to live out there. And if you look at this property on satellite, usually it's in an area where there's lots of acreage, although this is not an example of that, but it does back to trees. Get some information here. Sometimes you can get good info, depending on if it's in a good area. You can get some information on the actual owner of the property right here, clicking Find Owner. And you can click this, and you can see a company called Sunshine Investments owns it. And I would save this to those fields to the lead right here. So if I wanted to send the owner a letter, I could do that really quickly from right here. Okay. So let's see if he's responded. Okay, great. Not yet. All right. Well, I got to change the status to what? Follow up warm. Here's a seller that responded back. Jennifer Donnelly. Hey, Terrence. Yes, I'd be open to that for the right terms and price. So boom, there we go. I'm going to contact this person. I'm actually going to assign it to my acquisitions manager. Call Terrence today. Cool. And change the status of this lead to follow up hot. All right. You can see we got some other responses in here. Well, I have one that's on the market for sale right now, So Becky responded here, well, I have one that's on the market for sale now, which is a 6-bedroom. The 4-bed is for rental, but I think that I'll have a deposit on it tomorrow. So that sounds like a good lead. Why not just call them and follow up, see what's going on with Becky? She's an investor, a realtor, has a bunch of investment properties. I don't know, but let's call her and find out what's going on, right? Here's somebody that responded back. Anything's possible, parents. It's a matter of seeing what your credit and income and down payment is. And talking to a loan officer that can show me you could get a mortgage in 1 year. Keep in mind, I've been in real estate home sales for 21 years, so I know everything. So I do know how the mortgage process works as far as buyer qualifications, right? So he doesn't sound very motivated, whoever this person is, but I would still call him anyways. And again, I'm not chasing them. I'm just asking questions, and I pull away constantly. I say, this doesn't sound like it's going to work for you. It's probably not going to be a good fit. I tell them right away I'm an investor. I'm looking for an investment property that I can lease for a year or two and then buy. When I manage the property, you don't have to worry about vacancies or maintenance and repairs. I'll take care of all of that if the price works for me and if it's a nice house and if I like it. See, it's super simple. He says, well, I don't know, probably not. I need to think about it. I might just say, listen, why don't I send you an offer? You take a look at it. And on the webinar at sloclass.com, I'm going to show you the lease option credibility kit that I send to the seller that explains the lease option program. It does the selling for me. It explains it to them and just says, hey, this is what we do. Here's some frequently asked questions. If you're interested, great. If not, no big deal. Keep this for future reference in case circumstances change or you change your mind, right? And then I continue to follow up with them. Cool? All right, so let's go back to the slides here. Oh, I got one more thing I want to show you. Let's just pick one of these deals, and let's go to an old one that I did here. So just as an example, this is Melissa. She has a house in St. Peter's, and I was playing with this earlier. This is a demo, and she said, yeah, I'm interested in a lease option. So I put the deal type here to lease option. I filled out some data right here to create a lease option proposal. I clicked a button. Let me show you which button I pushed. I went right here to these dots, and I clicked Generate Document, and I selected a document to fill out, lease option proposal, and then I filled it out, and it was attached it to the record here, and this is what it looks like. And so this is, again, I covered this on the webinar. It has a cover letter. It's simple different options that we can give to them, explains what a lease option is and some of the benefits, and then 3 pages of frequently asked questions. And then at the end, it has a list of references that you could put in there. So from here, I can actually email it to the seller, and I can also send it in the physical mail to the seller. So if I wanted to send it in the physical mail, I just type in bot here, and boom, I click send email. It will send that attachment in the physical mail, first class, next day to the seller. It'll print the next business day and send it first class to the seller. And so I like to email sellers the proposal and send it in the physical mail so they have something to hold on to. Emails are too easy to get lost, and your competition's not doing that, okay? Cool. All right, let's jump to the slides. I'm going to just show you a few things here real quick. The 3 simple keys to success, all right? Number 1, model what works. Why try 100 different things when you can just model what works? Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Find a coach or a mentor that has been there, done that. It's really that simple. It's not that hard, okay? So the next thing I want to talk about is Occam's razor, and it's a scientific principle. It's kind of complicated. I'm just going to break it down real simple. It just means the more complex something is, the less likely it is to work. Or if there's several different solutions to a problem, it's usually the simplest one that is the best. So you have a lot of choices, a lot of paths to take. Just keep it simple. The simplest path is often the best. You could do 100 different things if you wanted, or just keep it simple. Keep the simplest, fastest path to cash. And I want to submit to you that that's probably lease options. Third principle is take this seriously. You've got to commit to learn, and then you've got to implement what you learn. You've got to commit to becoming the person you want to be. And a lot of times committing means investing in yourself. The most important investment you'll ever make are these 4 inches in between your ears. So you've got to be willing to invest in yourself and say, you know what? It's time to take this seriously. I'm going to do what this thing, this course, this class, whatever says to do. I'm going to stop asking questions, stop trying to dot all my I's and cross all my T's. I'm going to do what this guy says to do, whether it's me or whoever, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to commit. And that's when you'll start seeing success. That's when you'll start doing deals. I just went real quickly. I have a survey where I ask all of my students, what'd you think of the course? And I just randomly picked 3. This is what people are saying about my Simple Lease Options class. Everything is simplified and broken down so we can understand how to make lease options work. It is very well organized. I really appreciate this. The mind maps have been great. It really helps me follow along. By the way, in my course, I give you mind maps and videos and transcripts and audios. You can download or watch them or whatever, and there's different ways you can go through everything. The Samud, I believe, Joe, he says here, Joe explains it very well in easy, understandable language and provides examples of what to say to prospects. Okay, so again, I'm doing a class coming up today at sloclass.com. I'm going to share with you how to do free marketing to get more seller leads than you can handle. I'm going to show you how to get how to get deals under contract on the phone virtually from anywhere in the United States, anywhere in the world, without worrying about competition or having to negotiate on price. I'm going to show you how to make money the easiest and fastest way possible by selling your deals lightning fast without even needing a buyer's list. So go, again, depending on where you're seeing this, click the button down below or go to sloclass.com to watch the webinar today. We'll see you guys. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed this and learned something from it. Bye-bye. Go Blues!